Gamification describes the incentivization of people's engagement in non-game activities and context by using game-style mechanics. So that's Investopedia's definition of the word gamification. That might sound a little complicated, but basically what gamification means is turning something boring or maybe not so gamey into a game. So it's a technique of changing everyday processes into games. Whether that be working out, your career, your finances, or maybe your studies, gamification is an awesome way to make life a little more exciting and a little more engaging. I've personally used this strategy to motivate myself to reach new financial goals and keep track of my process. And because nobody likes staring at bland spreadsheets all day, I use the powerful mechanics of Notion to create one of my most advanced and ambitious projects yet, my Hustletown page. Hey, I'm Noah Adams, a Notion consultant and template crafter. It's nice to have you here. Make yourself comfortable and let's get right into it. If you were asking how gamification works in practice, then let me show you how the gamification of my finances looks like. I use Notion to do all of this because I just love the way I can design a page to my liking, but you could theoretically do this on paper too or in any other software. The concept is simple. The more money I make, the higher my level gets and the more XP I earn. And I also move further along the map, which I will show you soon. Okay, so this page has also been enhanced by AI generated text and images, just to add a little more flair to it and give it a certain style. And so I also drew my own little cover page here that I'm quite proud of. It was my first little pixel art project. And yeah, anyways, let's just get right into this Notion page. Let's start exploring and let's see how it works. And while I showcase some of the aspects of this Hustletown page, I also want to touch upon the different back-end mechanics and how they work, just so that you really get a grasp of how you could build a system for like this for yourself. And I will of course also have the template available for purchase. As this template is more advanced than my previous ones, it will be my first paid template. But I will leave a link down in the description below. For the first 5 people to purchase it, you'll get it 75% off. That's a crazy deal, and it really won't be that expensive, guys. So it would be a great honor if you guys could support me. And if you really feel like you don't have the money, then just watch this video. This should be enough to kind of like at least inspire you to start building your own template. So yeah, now welcome to the tour of my page. I have a current challenge with my friend Gopi. We're trying to get to 100,000 euros of income in 1 year, and this is basically how we track all of our earnings. Right at the top you find our user profiles with different stats. In this toggle you have an AI generated like introduction to the whole page, which basically introduces the 4 biomes, the game, and yeah, I'll just read a little bit out of it just to see like what the vibe is about here. So it says, for example, that this money-making odyssey is not just a game, it's a call to adventure, a challenge to seize the reins of your financial destiny. Your success is not merely measured in monetary terms, but in the skills you acquire, the challenges you conquer, and the growth you experience. And this is what this challenge is really all about for us. It's not about making money, it's not about the bills, it's about growing, it's about learning new skills, it's about learning new people, building up a network. And yeah, that's why we really decided to embark on this together. And it's been a blast so far, and I can't wait to see where we end up at the end of the year. You'll also see a short description here about the biomes. So yeah, this is kind of like foreshadowing a little bit that there will be these biomes, and also yeah, and all of this is kind of like setting the mood for the fantasy themed game that we've set up here, and it combines that with entrepreneurship and hustling. Yeah, we're gonna hear more about the biomes later on, but for now I'll close this toggle up again and we can start talking about the user profiles. So let's take a little closer look at the cards here. At the top we have the name, then we have earnings, level, XP, a progress bar, and then a current location. So let's open one of these cards up, for example mine, and then we'll also just open up this toggle to really see all of the back-end properties to see how this works. So let's work our way through all of this. Right here you'll have the items. This is a relation linking the items, which I'll get to later as well, to the user. Then we have the position, which is also a relation to the map. Further up here we have the next location, which we need just to retrieve data from that location. And then we have the income relation, where every single entry of income is related to me. And through that, we can then, pull the data of income and expenses from that and get those statistics that we saw earlier. So in this upper part, this is kind of like where all the action happens in different formulas and roll-ups. So this one, for example, is a formula linking this current location text to where I'm at right now. So that current location, we saw that down here, is the position. So the formula would look something like this, super simple. The earnings is very similar. It'll basically just take the income property, which is a roll-up from the amount in the income relation, and that's calculated as a sum. The level is pulling the number of the location from the map. So the higher up you go along the map, the higher level we'll get. The XP is all of your earnings times 0.6. The 0.6 is quite the arbitrary number. So there's not really much sense behind this XP number. It's just basically a number showing you how much experience you've gathered, because every time you have an expense or income, this number will rise. So even if you're spending money, investing money into a project, that XP number will go up. And we kind of like wanted to implement this not just to see who's made more money, but also who has more experience, who has been investing in new income streams as well. Yeah, and then the progress bar is basically just showing you how much percent of the way are you to the next milestone. And now if we scroll down into the actual user, we're going to see a little dashboard for every user. So at the left side here, you have links to different parts of the whole system. At the right, you have an inventory with all of the items assigned to that person. Further on down is one place where you can see your income and expenses, and then all the way at the bottom you have the income streams. Here I just take notes on my different projects and kind of like plan out my strategies. So coming back to the home page, we're going to scroll down a little, and this is basically the functional part. This is where all the action happens in the income. So Gopi can track his income here, and I track my income at the right side here. So whenever I've made money, I press on this new payment button. It'll open up a new page. I have some templates pre-assigned. So for example, if I did some gardening, I can just press this. It'll add like the icon and the different types and a cover image, and it'll also add my user profile and person. So that'll be linked. And then I can just add in right here into the income how much I've made. So you'll also see this gardening right here. It's very simple to just add new entries into here. That data will automatically be sent onto the user profile, and it'll update this number. So I'll actually show you what it would look like if I reach a new threshold. So let's say we've made 400 euros. This notification also pops up. It says you can advance to the next level. When you see this, you know, okay, you've crossed the threshold, you're above a certain amount of money, now it's time to level up. And this button, this level up button, basically does a bunch of different things, but it reassigns my user from one location to the next, and also just resets some different things, assigns new items to me, and things like this. And that's how this income part works. Now, I've already foreshadowed it a little bit. We'll scroll down to the map part now. Right here, you'll see that there are 4 biomes, and every biome has 4 locations. And yeah, every location has an AI generated image to kind of like visualize what that place could maybe look like on the map. And then you also see the threshold of how much you need to have earned to be able to access that new location. And when I press into these, then you'll see a quick AI generated description of the place. So for example, right now we're in Daisy Meadows, and it says that Daisy Meadows is a picturesque area where entrepreneurs celebrate achievements and showcase their products or services. This location hosts expos and showcases, allowing participants to attract more customers, partners, and investors, advancing their positions in the money-making challenge. This is maybe not so connected to reality because, I mean, there is no physical location called Daisy Meadows. We haven't hosted expos or showcases, but it's more like just to get your imagination flowing, to get you like into the mood of the game. So yeah, that's what that is for. And then it goes all the way down to here. The final destination is 100,000 euros, like I said. And also you'll see these treasures right here in every location where we haven't been yet. There's always a primary and a secondary treasure to get. And this is kind of like the incentive of, you know, it's something that pushes you. You want to get to the next location because there's that item waiting for you. And yeah, whoever gets to a location first gets the primary treasure. Whoever gets there second gets the secondary treasure, of course. And yeah, the further on down we go, the bigger the intervals get, but the better the prizes get as well. And I think it's almost time to talk about how this prize system works. So I think I will just quickly show you this biome section first. So yeah, right here you kind of like see all the biomes and the different locations inside of those biomes. And down here you see all of the items for every biome. And then in the descriptions, you can read like the different descriptions for the biome. For example, the deep dungeons. It says, descend into the mysterious deep dungeons where darkness conceals treasures and challenges. Within the depths, we must navigate the complexity of financial strategies. The deep dungeons represent the need for strategic planning and courage in the pursuit of success. Few entrepreneurs have ventured this far before. Are you up to the challenge to make it all the way to the final stages? Yeah, so just some more AI generated fun stuff to kind of like listen to there. And now we finally get to the items. This is one of my favorite parts just because it really motivates you to get to that next place before the other person, and it creates this healthy competition. And yeah, the final item, for example, is that the owner of this item can redeem it at any time, causing the other player to have to cover the cost of a flight to Asia where we will go backpacking together. So Gopi and I are both really experience oriented, and many of these items are different experiences that we want to do together, and it's also something that will really strengthen our friendship and bond. So it's been really fun so far, and we've gotten up to some crazy adventures together. Here are the secondary rewards. Then we also have power-ups. If you have earned more than a certain amount per day or per hour or in a month, then you activate these power-ups. And then congregation events happen at the end of every biome. We're just going to go to different workshops or courses together to learn more about entrepreneurship and business. And so yeah, we've basically reached the end now, but yeah, I just wanted to share a few more words about gamification. Gamification kind of like makes life more exciting by creating these incentives, in our case, these items. So our incentives come in form of rewards. These rewards are called items or treasure in the game, and here every item is explained. So yeah, that's the basic setup of the page. And now let's look at how we could start building something like this from scratch. Okay, so I also drew a mind map just to kind of like visualize what databases are needed for a system like this. And I would say the central aspect is the user, because the user is where every piece of data from your input comes in, and your user is also interacting with the map and the prize system. So I think we would start ahead with that. So I'll just drag this up again, and now maybe just down here we'll add a new page. There we go, call it a gamification system. And I don't know, maybe let's go for like an education gamification system instead of a monetary one, just to see how adaptable a system like this is. So I would start with a user. That would be a database, a board view of a database, a new board, call this user or users if there's multiple people, if you're doing this with friends. And then let's see, we're gonna go to group, and then or down here add a new database item and call it me, add a picture or an icon. There we go. Maybe we'll go for a fun little, yeah, low-key I usually almost use the icons from Notion, but I think for gamification it's appropriate to use emojis because they feel much more cartoony, much more gamey. So I might just pick out something like this. There we go, that's me. Add a cover of, I don't know, maybe you're gonna want to add a picture of yourself. I'll just add this fish right now because why not? And then we're gonna want to change the visuals of this a little, because right now this is looking kind of lame, right? So we're gonna go in here into the layout, we're gonna change the card size to large, card preview page cover, and now we go. Now we have a better system here, right? Okay, so now that we have the user in place, we're gonna want to input data somehow. And the way we do that is that we set up a new table view, okay, and now if this is about school, for example, you might wanna, list all of your assignments here. So we'll actually call this school assignments. And this could be assignments like, or I would say maybe let's call it school projects, because we could combine multiple things in here. For example, in the tags, we could then categorize these projects by exams, homeworks, and I don't know, group projects. For example, if you're in uni, you might have a lot of group projects with different grades. And speaking of grades, we might want to add a number format and then call this grade. Or, I mean, in your case, if you have a grade system with letters, then make that a text property. But yeah, now you can go ahead and add your homeworks. For example, homework 1, math homework, and then you get a certain grade on that. There you go. And then, you keep on moving. You have maybe like a English exam. There you go. That would be an exam. And then on the homework, you're going to want to remove these two properties. There you go. And then here, you have a grade as well. And then the next step is, now that you have this input system of getting the data into Notion somehow, you might want to automate that with a button. A button, when the button is clicked, add a page to school projects there. Give it a name, maybe tags, whatever. You can set the button up the way you want, put it here, and then whenever you press the button, it'll create that new entry for you. And if you wanted to, you could also add another step and open that page that you've created in Centerpeak. It's fine. New page added. Done. Okay, let's take a breather. That was a little fast. But now we have a system. We'll double check with our mind map what we've done so far. So we now have the input system through a button into the data database, so we can check that off. And now we also have a user system. We can check that off too. What's left to do is a map and prize system. So I would say maybe for the prizes, let's create a database, just kind of like store those. Yeah, let's do a gallery view maybe. There we go. Let's see, we can make a gallery of the prizes. And then one could be, for example, GPA of 1.5. There you go. And then the others, we'll delete those for now. And now what we want to do is add the final database, the map. So we'll create a new gallery view. There you go. We'll call this the map. And then delete this out of here. Call this location 1. Here we got location 2. And then here we got location 3. Then you can add covers and emojis to that to make it look pretty. But yeah, basically I'm just gonna go through the functionality of this. Now you have this user page, which is kind of like the central location for everything. In here, we're gonna want to add relations now. The number 1 relation is going to be to school projects. We'll show that on school projects too, sure. Add that, boom. And now we can link our homework English exams to this. And then maybe also pull in the grade with a roll up. We'll pick that relation. We're going to roll up the grade and then show the average. So this is basically the average grade. And we can also display that up here in the properties. We're going to show the roll up. And so here you see the average grade. Now if you wanted to add a text for that, for example, and go a formula property, edit the formula, in parentheses, current GPA, boom, boom, and then that roll up. There you go. And now we can show that instead of just the plain number. When we go to properties, we'll hide the roll up, but show the formula. There you go. So your current GPA is 1.5, which is nice. This is how like the stat system works. The same way I had the income, you can have your GPA or the amount of assignments completed, which means you can also add a progress bar to show how many assignments you have completed, for example, in percentage. And to do that, you could, for example, add a status here, not started and completed and in progress, stuff like this. And then you could calculate the count, which is not started, and have the count which is completed, and then work from there. And now we're going to want to connect the prizes and map. So in the map, we're going to want to add a relation to the users. I will add that there, and then we'll link ourselves to location 1. And now we can show that in the properties as well. Show the user, and now you'll see, okay, I am at location 1 right now. And then to move me from location 1 to location 2, I would do that with buttons the same way I did it in my system, but you could also manually unlink me from location 1 and then relink me to location 2. And then you'll find me over here. The last step would be to connect the prizes. So basically, one prize could be, you've reached a GPA of 1.5. We'll add a description as text, that prize might then be, for example, treating yourself to a night out or something like that, right? And then the system would work like that, if you reach a certain GPA, you might move forward in the location, you could pick up this item, and then we're going to link with a relationship the prizes to our user. Once again, add that relationship, that relation, and then boom, you can link the prize right here. So that's how a system like that would work. Right now, of course, I didn't add any visuals, but you can go ahead and do that. And, use your AI generation tool of choice, use your AI text generation tool of choice, and image generation tool of choice, and then you can do some crazy stuff. And once again, like I said, the template that you saw before is available in the link in the description if you do want to go pick it up. First 5 people get 75% off, so get there quick. Thank you for your attention, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. And shout out to Level Land for commenting on one of my previous videos, wanting to know how a system like this is built. This one's for you, man. Okay, bye everybody. I'll see you next Friday.